it's Psyche Medium Yosha here. So today we're going to talk about a topic called abuse. So, what is healthy in a relationship and what isn't healthy in a relationship with anyone? So, when someone talks to you verbally disrespectful, like in a very arrogant way, or when someone actually treats you physically that way, hurts you, and sexually harasses you, there's different layers to abuse. And as a psychic medium and also a person has counseling experience, what I've realized is that abuse comes in many different types of forms, and sometimes we don't even know that someone is actually abusing us because we're so conditioned to it. So, meaning that it is abuse regardless of anything. And if the first thing is if it makes you feel bad about yourself and it's destroying your psychological state, it is considered abuse. So I deal with many different types of people and different clients in a day, and I've learned something that we all go through something in our childhood. We go through something in our lives that actually is traumatizing. So the most important thing is to recognize it, release it, and start healing and moving forward. Now, people always ask me, Yuri, like, how does it affect you psychologically? Why does it affect you? Well, even if you don't talk about it now, it will affect you in the long run as you get older in terms of how you interact with in relationships, in love relationships, in friendships with other people. And I think when it's important that trauma with energy healing, because I do energy healing is such an amazing thing because it starts energy is energy and the motion is the motion power, which is energy in motion, which is emotions. So basically I lay my hands onto what a person may need to move the energy, to shift the energy where it needs to be, because sometimes when we are dealing with things, we're basically not releasing it. We're not talking about it sometimes we're not, or we talk about it and we don't release it that way properly. Because remember, every memory has some trigger in our entire body of energy, and it needs to be released on an energy level, because energy is so powerful. It starts creating layers of physical, chemical, and then it goes into our habits, and then basically we don't even know we're doing these things because we're so conditioned. And also most of us have these protective mechanisms. We have fears that we project, and sometimes subconsciously we're doing it, but consciously we don't want to do it, if that makes any sense. And this is due to traumas as a child, or rape, or anything that you've gone through. So as a psychic and a medium and someone that also counsels people, the best thing is to basically realize um, that energy plays a huge role. It's an experience at that time that you go through. It's something that you need to revisit, to release. And what energy healing does, it doesn't take you back to that experience. It more like releases what's not needed. It takes time to release that wherever the energy is stored. But remember, even when you remember the memory later on when you're doing energy healing, you remember it, but it'd be like a picture in your mind that, you know what, it happened to me, but I've made peace with it because I've released with energy healing. So all of us are imperfect in some way, and none of us have no issues, because all of us do go through some things in our lives. And what's the thing I want to say to you guys is that everybody can get better, everybody can get healed. And I think the more we stuff or push things aside in our minds, our subconscious mind has a very funny way of bringing things up when we are getting older in life, especially when we have relationships or we have friendships. We've noticed that something keeps happening with our habits or our behavior. So it starts showing up in how we interact with others. So the important thing is to realize with energy healing, we as a psychic, me as a psychic, can actually shift that energy so that you can be able to release what's not needed. It's like sort of like a monk that's carrying a heavy sack on him, right? There's a story about that. And he's carrying this heavy sack. But why is he carrying it? Why don't you just put it down and walk away? You don't need to. There's no need to, but you choose to. And it's hurting your back. It's making you feel terrible things. It's actually causing bruises in your back. It's creating a a back problem. Whereas you can just leave it down and just and then just decide to whenever you want to take bits and pieces out of it to deal with it. It's sort of like the same thing with energy healing. You deal with small bits first. You don't just go into the entire bag and carry on your shoulders. That is a big burden, and that's when people actually end up committing suicide, getting psychologically in their mind they're not dealing with it well. And it's important. I always say environment is so important when somebody grows up, because it does affect the mind psychologically as the mind matures. And even if you had gone through some child abuse or something in your teens, it doesn't mean that you can't get better. You can. With energy healing, whatever else you choose, energy healing, it will work. Just be patient, allow it to work, and also assist yourself with the energy healing and whatever else. Have a great day, guys. Bye. Ciao.